their way over, but they're losing so many members. The way that they can come right back, Gaga actually getting back into the fight. Made sure, Nisha, you didn't go down for no reason. All their way back onto this payload. They have to respect that window go right behind Leech. They're still fighting Carpe. Carpe has been able to clean up this backline, whereas you have Leech trying to put in so much of this work, and they're still finding these picks, Jaws. Actually here that the Bob is going to have to try to attack on some of that damage, and the Gravitic Flux, though, is going to stop Carpe, get that follow. Carpe took a lot of that damage initially, but Elsa also cleans up Rascal. That's both DPS out. Was a big... Oh, that Bob's still from Mana, though. Despite him trying to take some cover, the rocket for Hush. Oh, no! But he's gone! He's gone! That's sleep! Alarm! I got my eyes on you, and that was absolutely humongous. Welcome back, everyone, and good morning. We are currently on our final series for the day. I mean, it's morning here for me, but Jaws, I know that it's about to be 5 in the morning over there. I mean, it's just been a wild night. I mean, where nothing is going according to plan, apparently, and we currently have the Philadelphia Fusion facing off against the Chengdu Hunters.
Yeah, I've watched an entire day of North American Overwatch, and now I'm casting almost the entire day of APAC Overwatch. So yeah, I've heard a lot of Overwatch today, that is for sure. And a lot of upsets too, Vicky. Oh man. Charge taken down, the NYXL, unexpected. The rest of the games today and yesterday, pretty unexpected. Will this be the same? I'm not entirely sure. Philly haven't looked that great, honestly. Yesterday, they got beaten by the NYXL 3-1. Carpe's Hangzhou didn't look great, and there were questions all over the place too. Rascal's Echo hasn't been looking all too fantastic either. There's a lot of question marks out for the Philadelphia Fusion right now, who still haven't got most of their roster, Vicky, in Korea with them playing in the APAC region.
Yeah, a lot of questions up, and a very not so common Carpe game that we saw yesterday. Overall, just performance throughout the day. But you know, when you take a look at your pick'ems, make sure that you set your pick'ems on fire. Going down below to that link that you just saw. But again, guys, it's been a fantastic week. It's the first week here within a new month, a new format, and a different hero pool. And we're slowly reaching the end of our APAC day, Jaws. Like, why don't we take a look at what we have here between the Fusion and the Chengdu Hunters?
Yeah, the Philadelphia Fusion, like I mentioned, Vicky, they haven't got half of their squad. In fact, there are rumors currently Fusion University might be coming back. They posted a graphic or a little video on Twitter, and there's rumors maybe that some of the players that haven't made it to Korea are actually going over to Fusion University. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. But at this moment in time, it seems fairly likely, just because Fusion right now have only been running these players and can only run these players right now because of all the visa issues. It's a very odd situation that the Philadelphia Fusion find themselves in. I'm hoping that people like Astro, of course, make it back, Shockwave as well, make it back to the main roster and get the visa issues sorted and get to Korea so they can play in APAC, because those guys have been so instrumental. Funny Astro especially on the Lucio. He is a bit of a Reddit Lucio some of the time, but his stats last season were just unbelievable. One of the most gifted Lucio players we have in the league. Of course, he is currently being replaced by Toby, who's one of the more famous Lucios from way back in the day. Back in Apex, earned himself the Boop God title on Eichenwalde when he was just able to boot people off the map time and time. Again, Carpe sorting his camera. Thank you, Carpe. I see a beautiful face. There we go. Okay, he got it sorted in the end. Yeah, Toby replacing Astro means that Alarm has to kind of build up synergy with him. The Hunters, on the other hand, have had a ton of new players come into their roster too. They've been blowing people out of the water as well. Among, unfortunately, a fan favorite, hasn't seen all too much playtime. Almost no playtime at all in replacement of Gaga, who has just been phenomenal. This Chengdu Hunters revitalized. Leave has been exceptional too. Monk has been a very big surprise to me. His Ana has been looking fantastic. I have high hopes for the Hunters in this June Joust, because Monk's Ana, just stick him on that permanently, man. He is absolutely crazy. And Gaga's Wrecking Ball has been looking good too. I've really had it in my mind for a while after hearing this hero pools, Vicky, that this is going to be their meta. They can do the ball dive, they can do this Orisa comp that they're running with the ball and the Orisa, but they've actually been sticking to a lot of this double shield or Orisa and X hero on the tank line. And Gaga is just a phenomenal Orisa player too. There's not much this guy can't play.
Which is why Gaga is such a phenomenal player for the Hunters. When you take a look at the way that they performed in the May Melee, to no surprise, I had high expectations for this team coming into the June Joust. So now, as we get set up and we have a different look at the Fusion after yesterday's performance, I'm hoping that they didn't let that get to their mental, treating today as a completely new day as it is, and, trying to figure out what they needed to iron out, because, again, it just wasn't the play that I was used to seeing looking at both Carpe and Rascal.
Yeah, it's really not something we're used to at all. It's a bit of a slump. The Philadelphia Fusion, this happens to the team sometimes though. They are the Cinderella team after all. They always come in sort of the second place line, and it's not really where they want to be at all. They need to take the trophy eventually. They need to get there. But recently, they've not been looking so hot. NYXL, on the other hand, who the team that beat them previously, have been looking fairly good. Apart from the last series, I don't know, it's all up in the air. There's a big, I don't know if you've seen those big circle diagrams before where X team beats Y team, beats Z team, beats A team, beats B team, beats C team, and then C team beats X team again. You know what I mean? It's a bit like that in APAC currently, just because the hero pool shuffle up and a whole bunch of other reasons, I'm sure. All right. Let's get into this map, though. We're on Mecha Base. Jimmy's locking in Torb. This is what I'm here for, man. This is it. Double shield, Torb. Give it to me. Jimmy, probably the best Torb player we have in the league.
Oh, we've been seeing this, too. We saw it earlier on for our first series, just ever so slightly from the Dragons. But already getting set up. We currently have Rascal, who is going to try again on this Echo. We saw that Rascal had his troublesome time yesterday, but does have alarm for that sustainability. Mono gets stunned and took a lot of damage, and he's going to go down. Gaga actually pulled him right back into that line of fire, and already a great start here for the Pandas. They've been absolutely doing so well within the first month that now going into the second month, I must reiterate, this is going to be a great showing. But again, this is the Fusion, the team that has Carpe, who's been able to do such a line of work as a DPS for this team.
What the Hunters did there was just encapsulate themselves in a giant egg, a bit like Josh's head. They just stood there waiting for someone to jump in. As soon as Mano jumped in, he got dragged back in. Jimmy hits a right click, Leave hits a right click and a stun. Like, there's not much you can do. Look at Mano's health bar right now. He's nanoed, by the way. Big anti in the front line, though.
Oh, yeah, and that actually catches both Elsa and Gaga, but it's Leave who's taking his leave. And luckily here, currently have the Fusion making their way in, being able to get this point. That was a great start, but you saw that Mono took so much damage.
That was all on alarm. 100%, Vicky, all on alarm. As soon as that nade hits, Manu knew it was go time. Manu, his health bar almost evaporated, Vicky. Like, he got nanoed, the damage resistance, yeah, that wasn't anything, really. Okay, fight starting again. A massive anti from alarm. Luckily, the Immortality field's going to be there to save them for the time being. Flux from Else is available, though. The Philadelphia Fusion are going to have to go for this fight rather quickly. They cannot let the Hunters set up on the high ground.
Oh, and the dive attempt, though, from Mono, the Gravitic Flux, but another big anti. Can we talk about Alarm's anti-nade so far? Within this first round has just been a statement maker already. Also does find Mono, so Mono won't be in this fight, but it's going to be up to Hoppa. Fortunately, won't have the reset with the mech, but it's going to be Leave who finds that flash, takes care of Carpe. They've lost Nisha, though, but the rally is going to be activated by Toby to allow the rest of this team to move in, and Hoppa gets taken out before getting right back into the mech. Look at this chaos ensuring, but it's going to be the Hunters to plant their feet on this ground.
That was beautiful. Again, can't let the Hunters set up, right? They just can't let them do it. If they do, the Hunters then just walk around this big, slow-moving death ball. No Lucio, so it's not that quick. Mano has to receive nano. He can't go in without it, or he requires defense matrix stuns and then Rascal jumping in as well to distract. You know, it's so difficult for them to do anything. Nisha, what are you doing there?
What? Nisha wanted to take front line positioning and get shut down for it, but that's a wasted rally. Unfortunate for the Hunters, but luckily Carpe's on the high ground in great positioning with the Deadeye. Really shortly, he's going to pull the trigger on it. Lee got antied. Instead, just creating some of that space on the high ground. Look at the way that they're positioned, splitting some of that attention out while Hoppa's getting enabled. They take care of Jimmy's turret, as well as Jimmy in the process. and finding that pick, though, you can already see Rascal's getting repositioned with the Death Blossom. He doesn't get stunned out of it. Instead, Elsa goes down, unfortunately not turning in place. It's going to be Leave who now takes his leave again, and Rascal on the Reaper. He's making his comeback here. He didn't like his performance yesterday, so he has to make up for it.
Yeah, he has to make up for it big time. The Death Blossoms don't really get all too much in these comps. There's so much to negate it. But Elsa, unfortunately, Carpe, sorry, wasn't able to stun him out of it. Or Leave, sorry, wasn't able to stun him out of it. So he was just kind of blasted against the wall. Okay, Gaga back on the Orisa. They have the Flux. You see Elsa there flick up with the kinetic grasp to try and stop that anti-nade coming through as well. That was perfect.
We're already learning our lesson, especially after Alarm's been putting those antis. Yeah, not going to get anything from the Gravitic Flux. Going to have to back off. Instead, though, the positioning that we currently have, the Fusion holding, has been really working out in their favor, but it's Gaga who finds Mono, the Molten Core, to create some of that space and do a lot of damage, but Jimmy gets anti to get big anti finding 3? Jimmy's not dead yet. I don't know how, but Leave is the one that falls because of that anti. Luckily, keeping that turret still in rotation, but the overtime is crucial here. The Fusion are fighting for their life, and another big anti onto Gaga. That's both tanks down, and the Fusion now been able to flip this point. Alarm has been so consistent so far.
Man, that hot Basalta struck there didn't get anything, but it pushed the entirety of the Hunters out from that very encapsulated position. They're going to engage the rally yet again. Nisha's not going to go down first this time, though.
No, after learning their lesson here, Monk got hit with the anti, but it's Leave that gets that Deadeye onto Toby. They noticed, they learned their lesson, and Leave now getting the stun and taking care of Rascal, making a quick 3K. That's a great way to secure this round here if you are the Hunters, and it's Leave who's going to hold the helm and take the driver's seat for this fight.
Oh boy, Leave with the 3K at the very end. Nicely done. Oh man, I love the Hunters comp, especially on this map. You just set up in a nice little bunker, and it takes so long to take you down as well. So when they do have control of the point, Philly have to invest so many resources. Ultimates, like important abilities like anti-nade, sleep to try and dislodge you. It's very, very tough to deal with if you are the Fusion, who just basically want to dive on you, Vicky. They want to send Mono in over and over again with this nano boost, but it's so hard for him to actually survive. And then Hunters were also doing a very good job of stopping Rascal getting on top of them. Rascal was going for these cheeky flanks. He was immediately sniffed out, and as soon as McCree kind of turns towards you as the Reaper, you can't really do much, especially if he's at range. We're going to go to Sanctuary. Slightly different look from the Hunters as Jimmy's over to the Soldier, but still sticking with this double shield.
And that's going to be interesting too, because then Jimmy's going to want to get into position right behind Elsa and Gaga. And Rascal also matching Jimmy on the Soldier. The only difference here is Carpe on this Ashe and the support lineup too. And you currently have Mono, who's just trying to get in some of this poke pressure, but the point unlocks very shortly, and you already see the position getting taken up by Fusion. A little aggressive, but this side is going to be controlled by the Hunters, and they're not overcommitting. They're just letting that space go over to Fusion.
Yeah, he can't really do much here. He needs to be able to kind of escort himself out. He's going to get dragged back in once again. Mono is going to be able to touch point, continually cycle on it to make sure the Hunters can't touch, but he's going to be in danger. If he steps anywhere near the front line of the Hunters, he's going to go down pretty quickly. Elsa gets naded, but yeah, knocked out of the Immortality field as he gets taken down, and this should be the point now for the Fusion.
Yeah, that was perfect positioning too. After the Immortality field, booping them out of it, and it's Rascal who is uncontested over to the side, by the way, getting a lot of line of sight over to the Hunters, and Hoppa getting a quick 2K. Mono wants to put himself on board, make it a 3K though, Hoppa. We have our eyes on you, and currently the Fusion have been able to take this point first, but the way that the Hunters have been playing here, Jaws, they just have to readjust, but I'm a little scared here if I'm the Fusion.
Yeah, I'll be pretty scared too. I mean, well, I wouldn't be that scared of the Visor, of course. Probably the worst ult in the game at this point. I'm curious if they're ever going to update Visor, maybe for Overwatch 2 to make it effective. It's just really not that good considering how many shields. I mean, technically, it'll be more effective because there are less shields in Overwatch 2.
When you're powered up though? Okay,
Rascal
one
yeah,
can
watch
make
it shoot shields. Oh no, he got one. Oh, he got two. I take it back. I take it back.
The follow-up, Rascal heard you, Jaws, and said, hold up, the Nano Boost, the Gravitic Flux, I got a clear view, an eagle-eye view of where everybody else is going to be. It's target practice here.
It took 2 extra ults for him to actually get value out of the Visor, okay?
True, yes. Yes.
So who's the winner really? Well, Rascal, because he got 3 kills and he got some more stats, which is nice. But the Hunters now going into this next fight, they've got Supercharger, they've got Visor, they've got Deadeye, a lot of damage boosts as well. Nish is going to be at his back, and you can see how scared. They're not playing close at all. The Philadelphia Fusion playing completely split. Bob on point to start off the fight.
And to get right there, and it's going to be Jimmy now having the Tac Visor. Going to be able to have some of that sustainability here from Nisha. Nisha's going to be the only one, I mean, getting close enough for the Supercharger, but isn't going to have any impact for that Tac Visor. Instead,
yeah,
though,
zoning though. Oh, Jimmy?
Oh, and he got hit with the anti too. He gets moved off in a very similar fashion that we had seen from Mono, and now the minefields to try to clear the side. Luckily to get out of that situation, it's going to be Elsa who's going to retaliate onto the tank lineup of the Fusion.
Oh my goodness, that was almost perfect. Mono wanted to do the same thing, like you mentioned, just bowl people out of that immortality field, but it was in such a tight and closed space that it didn't end up working out. Hunters have point control, and that's where they want to be. They've got Deadeye, they've got the Flux as well, the Gravitic Flux, plus the Window as well. Lena's taking an extremely aggressive angle, but holding off angles with your signal can be so strong. You're forcing the Fusion into this one small choke point. Look how aggressive they're pushing up. Elsa can escape basically for free too with this Flux.
Oh, yeah, with this Flux. Oh, they find Hoppa too. That was way worth it because Toby had used the Valk, and now Alarm's taking a lot of damage here. Elsa's going to be able to get back in time and get into the line of sight for Nisha, but they don't want to let Toby get away for free.
Yes, the way Hunters are playing this, they've basically got people to anchor down onto the point. Oh. This fight should be over fairly quickly, I can imagine, as they do resurrect Jimmy. Yeah. They've got 3 people on the point holding down the fort, and then they've got this 3-man goon squad going off onto the sidelines. They've got Nisha, they've got Leave, and Elsa up on the high ground. Just making sure the Fusion can't jump on them. Mono wants to be able to get into the backline. You can see him here, but Jimmy's just face-checking him every single time. There's not much Mono can do in this situation. Last fight territory now for the Hunters. They got 15% to go, and they're going to be able to take this map.
And now with this time ticking away, they have limited time. It's going to be Lee who's going to have the pocket for him, thanks to that Valk pop from Nisha. Jimmy's taking care of Carface Bob. The Tac Visor over to the side of Rascal, getting into positioning, and you saw the follow from Mono, but Mono gets taken out by Leave, and Leave is still uncontested. Talk about taking care of Rascal, but Jimmy gets out of that situation after putting in some pressure, bringing that fight up to close quarters, but you don't want to bring yourself in that fight onto Leave. No one was on the point right there. They couldn't get on the point. The Hunters, they take map number 1.
Man, the Fusion just looked kind of lost, completely lost. You saw a soldier going on the wildest flank.
Yeah,
Mono really wasn't there on the ball. He was getting checked as well by Leave and Jimmy. They knew exactly what the Fusion were doing. The Hunters just did not flinch. They knew how to play the comp extraordinarily well. Ideally, the Fusion want to be able to just Mono to bowl through people and then gain a lot of ult charge and then just slam in and then kind of collapse on them from there. But the Hunters were playing in these 2 small pockets, these 2 turrets on a giant castle that is the Hunters. They're playing 3 people on the point, they're playing 3 people off of the point, able to rotate around and then check for Mono and check for this flanking soldier. They read Philadelphia Fusion like a book there, Vicky.
Yeah, and that's now going to allow them to build up some of that momentum, because we saw yesterday that the Fusion, they weren't feeling so great after that series with the NYXL. And now they've lost map number 1 to the Chengdu Hunters. It's 1-0, and it's going to be first to 3 to take the entire series in the pocket. Don't go anywhere, though. We're going to have map number 2 on the other side of this break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
The Philadelphia Fusion still trying to shake the dust off. It feels like their loss against the NYXL the other day is kind of painting a bit of a picture of what's happening in the June Joust. They're not finding their footing at all in this series. They looked very lost on control. The Hunters just took control of the entire game. They read Philly. They knew exactly how they were going to play. Although, how would you know how to play against a team that is lost? I don't know. I think that's a question for the philosophers that are Bren and Josh. Earlier on today. I mean, what do they need to do to come back into this series, Vicky? I'm not sure. Just Alarm is doing well on the Ana for sure. Yeah. Like, he is hitting a lot of these big antes, but the way the Chengdu Hunters are playing, they look cool, calm, collected. They look drilled in how they want to play this composition with the double shield and then playing on two separate points as well on Shrine, like we saw on that final stage of Busan. They just looked very good. There's not really much you could fault them for it right now. It's more just Philly not really finding themselves in the series. We'll have to see if they want to come back. Eichenwalde is going to be the next map, however, but another very good one to kind of bunker down on with a double shield. So, yeah, tough one.
Yeah, Eichenwalde is going to provide you the ability to use that double shield, but also I feel like it's really a mental thing, Jaws. I feel like after yesterday, aside from the dust that they need to shake off real quick, the Fusion, I think, have felt a little tilted, and hopefully after that first map, they're not tilted in this new series that they're playing in. I feel like overall, the trade has just gone in favor of the Hunters, and it just feels like they're getting out-traded, honestly. So now looking at the way the Fusion has to make some of those adjustments, and we're making our way over to Eichenwalde, what are you anticipating from the Fusion? I mean, it's not usually like a Carpe and Rascal to really kind of hold back a bit.
I want to see maybe like the Echo comp. Honestly, just run Rascal on the Echo. His Soldier, yeah, it's good. Problem is, you need a lot for it to actually succeed. We did see that one Nanovisor that got a couple of kills, but that was aided with the Nano, of course, and with the Flux, and then he had another Nanovisor that got nothing done. I think he just needs to play the Echo. Toby's a fantastic Mercy player as well, so sticking Toby on the Mercy wouldn't go amiss also. And Carpe, does he want to go back on the Hangzhou? Not entirely sure. Even just a Kree. Carpe's Kree is very good. Mano's Winston, exceptional. Hotbur as well, going in with the Diva. He was very explosive last season in 2020, especially in the homestands when he was on NYXL. I remember the crowds going absolutely crazy when Hotbur landed those big self-destructs. Just going back to their roots, it feels like, is going to be the name of the game for Philly. Oh wow, different look for the Hunters though. I did mention before how they can play a whole bunch of different comps in this specific meta, Vicky. They weren't the greatest rush team, and they opted to go for a little bit more dive-centric. As APAC normally is, they prefer these hyper-aggressive styles of dive with the ball and the Winston. So Gaga on the Winston, perfect. I really, really enjoy the fact that Hunters are playing this too. They're showing their flexibility, not only on the double shield, but on the dive as well. And Leave is just an animal on anything he picks. And having Nisha is back on the Mercy. I mentioned before, but we have a ton of good Mercy players this season. And Nisha's definitely one of them.
We've seen Nisha pop off on the Mercy, especially with those clutch reses falling off the map. But just trying to get something started real quick here before Carpe makes the swap.
This might be a mirror. No, it's not. Okay, so Carpe's actually on the Ashe and then Jimmy is on the Reaper. So a little bit more defense orientated. I remember Albert talking about this Reaper comp with the Kree. He was banging on about it a lot. Saying, oh yeah, I haven't heard this anywhere. And then the Mayhem played it. We were like, yeah, okay, Albert. All right. Sounds good to me. You haven't heard it anywhere, huh? And Mayhem playing a ton of it. Oops, Daisy. That's Mano dying. Well, that's not great. It's time for a reset, methinks. It's a bit awkward too. If you're Mano again, there's so many threats you have to deal with if you're Mano. If he jumps in, he's got to jump into Jimmy. And Jimmy can just sit on top of Monk, he can sit on top of Gaga, he can sit on top of Elsa. Mano has to play these fights so scared. It's going to be up to Carpe now, switching over to the Kree, which is something I wanted to see him on, to roll in and almost check Jimmy, just mark him constantly.
Yeah, what I feel like the issue is with Mono is the moment he tries to leap in, they just do so much damage on focusing Mono, and just the healing output isn't enough. Now having to force him to reposition right away. Now Hotba is the one taking a lot of that damage in his anti too. Talk about making a reset though. It's gonna be Gaga already having the primal, and Jimmy taking a snap, but he gets woken up immediately, and Rascal's gonna try to hold back a little bit. He took a lot of damage himself, but he will have the duplicate soon, but he won't have it yet before Elsa takes Rascal out of the sky.
Wow,
Already
Rascal was
a great
playing
start
so
here for the
aggressive.
Hunters.
Yeah, Rascal was playing so aggressive there. He got the nano from Alarm, Vicky, super early on in that fight, and he was just taking the duel with Leaf. Leaf got healed up and actually got nanoed as well. And Rascal's ones faded away, and he was like, oh, well, I guess I have to back off as Leaf towered over him and just kind of clocked him in the head. And 2 minutes have already disappeared from the time bank of the Philadelphia Fusion. And the Hunters are still in a very good spot. They got Copy, they got Self-Destruct, they got Nisha with a Valk as well. A lot of tools on the side of Philadelphia Fusion, though. It's going to be up to these copies, though. How much value will they actually get?
Oh, Rascal getting that perfect duplicate right on top of that Winston. And Leave actually on the Diva. So we have 3 tanks on board, looking a little different. Rascal's put to sleep, but he has the primal. You can see him trying to disrupt the piece, but it's Leave that has the Diva bomb. Luckily, the bubble was there to help protect Leave to the side, but now it's going to be Mono who has this balcony control. I like the way that they're playing this really spread out, because you can currently see Rascal, who's playing aggressively, and does have the sandwich going in, but Jimmy gets put to sleep, and he has a Death Blossom. This could make a lot of difference, but Jimmy, unfortunately, gets taken out, and Carpe gets put to sleep now instead. But right before Nisha gets taken out by that Deadeye Jaws, and you currently have the Fusion finding their footing here on this payload. You have the Hunters, unfortunately, that are unable to keep them at bay, but that was a really good fight that the Fusion just brought over to the Hunters.
That was a really nice bit of peel there from Leave transforming into the Diva, but I think the damage had kind of already been done. As soon as Rascal got that Primal Rage in that smaller room, it was really easy for the rest of Philadelphia Fusion to dive on the backline. Jimmy was left completely unaware. Hasn't got a crazy amount of mobility. He has to set himself up for a teleport. Couldn't join the rest of his team in the bar. And that kind of ended it there and then. Wow, Gaga's taking a lot of damage. Probably wants a Primal. There he is.
Yeah, he pops Primal, but it's going to be the Death Blossom in the back, and it's going to be Leaf to help clean up for Jimmy. And Leaf is getting pocketed too by this at the same time by Nisha, and we touched up on that from the gates when they came out, and Elsa to make a follow-up and make an appearance too. What a way to actually send the rest of Fusion back to the spawn. Look at this old economy that they're holding on to too.
Yeah, really nice bunch of ults coming up. And how do the Philadelphia Fusion approach this fight? I mean, waiting passively is probably not a good idea. Alarm's already dead.
And Rascal has the duplicate too. Copping the Diva and making sure that since Leave is in this fight, there won't be another duplicate on Mono. And Mono's put to sleep. He has the Primal, luckily, and Toby's kept Alarm in this fight. This is going to allow the Fusion to build up some space and push this payload over as the reset's going to come in from the Hunters.
Wow, Jimmy was actually in their spawn, by the way, and Carpe had to get pocketed, and they sent a Hopper after him as well. They won the fight in the front line, so it didn't matter. That looked really good for the Hunters up until the point Mono actually woke up. It was a good sleep from Monk to stop Mono diving in with Rascal, who was copied, but he managed to capitalize on it regardless. Another couple of copies come in. Leave just chatting out on the McCree copy.
Oh, he missed those shots as he dropped down, though. He does get some of that sustainability, but Rascal doesn't want to fight through that window. Instead, he's just trying to take a different angle. See the high ground control? It's Mono. He gets that pick off of Jimmy. Oh, this is going to be the Winston bridge. Luckily, though, Elsa does have those rocket boosters to live, and you can already see Elsa right back into this fight. Carpe, though, getting to position and finding Monk at an off angle. That's a great opening here, as now both Elsa and Monk, luckily Monk gets res in this fight, but Monk has a nano boost, so that can make a difference to holding them back for the second point.
So, well, only 1 minute remains, though, and the spawn advantage is still in the favor of the Hunters right now. But Hopper can just use this self-destruct kind of a plug to make sure they can force them back, but it looks unlikely for the time being, especially as Toby is now down. Maybe just go for a reset here. You have one final fight.
Rascal gets antied, but he's in the duplicate. He has the Diva Bomb. Let's make it 2 real quick here to match that with Hotba. And they're just trying to secure this payload, but it's so close to being there. Here comes Carpe, wanting to find Nisha off to the side. I like this position that we've been seeing from Carpe because we've been able to get a lot of impact at these off angles, but it's trying to stay in this fight. It's going to be mono dive nuts. Gaga is taking him out. That's both Jimmy too, that's not in this fight, but Nisha's reses have really been on point, and they haven't been able to take care of Nisha yet. Always with that positioning, but Gaga gets put back to sleep, and he takes so much damage. Now he's out of the fight for the second time.
Oh, what a kill onto Nisha! Mono melees him in the air before he actually gets slept. This could just be it. The spawn advantages aren't going to be good enough. Monk and Rascal dueling it out, but Leave again comes back big with a primal.
Oh, but he gets put to sleep. He won't be present there. The payload, they need to stay on the point, and they do get there on time, but Jimmy's in the back. They need to take care of him. He's found Alarm, and that's a big pig. They're going to trade it for Nisha, but Monk still, they got off the point. They're not there anymore. Well,
I mean, they all died, so yeah, I don't think they could actually be on the point. I mean, Jimmy was at an off angle that whole time on the Widowmaker. In these chaotic fights at the very end, it's super easy to kind of find picks as the Widow almost. You know, no one's really looking for you. Jimmy snuck off to the right-hand side, just lined up perfectly, activated the sights, could see everything clear as day. That was so nice. Him and Leave saved that point. Leave was able to build up towards that Primal Rage, get the kill onto Toby as well. Oh my word, a clutch master, Leave at the very end. Well, and Jimmy, of course, too. Hunter's DPS lineup, I get more impressed every single time I see them play.
And I feel like it's this fact that they're really building into this team synergy after every game that we've seen them perform, and both Leave and Jimmy have been leaving such a good impression, especially with those duplicates. And I feel like that's the theme of tonight too, Jaws. These duplicates having such a high impact as probably the best ultimate in the game. And even with some of those adjustments going into this patch for this month, Leave just was able to do so much on that Winston. With the Primal too, just being able to disrupt the piece, send everybody back from the fusion. No one else left alive to actually do anything about it.
It's super difficult because he was just containing 3 people right at the very, the spawn of the defenders on first. Insane amount of work he was doing. Okay, so Leave now on the Echo. Okay, oh yeah. Just like, please don't play Soldier. just stay on Echo. You're doing so well with it. They got this dive style again with the Reaper and the Echo, of course, and this is going to be at Leave's back. I really like this. I like Carpe playing the Ashe, but I think Creech is way more effective here because you put a lot more. You put a bit more of a dampener on Jimmy trying to do anything on the Reaper, because if you get stunned as Reaper, you can obviously go for a shift and you can just get Fan the Hammock pretty quickly.
Yeah, except Jimmy won't have to worry about that this time around. It's going to be Carpe who's getting dove on, though. He's taking a lot of damage, but luckily Toby's right there to help heal. It's going to be Rascal, though, that they really need to focus that attention on. He's already found 2, and Papa Mono have been able to get that follow-up and clean up around the Hunters. I like the way that the Fusion now are playing this a lot more safer. Hoppa with another got antied again, but
that kind of sucks.
Monk and both Alarm are insane.
Yeah, Alarm hit a really nice anti to start off that fight, stop them moving in. He now has Nano before Monk, but he should have his online in a couple of seconds. They're just going to Nano in Leave, I believe. I believe in Leave. There's no way you don't in this situation. Like, the guy's an absolute warlord. Unstoppable at times.
Gaga's attempt right there to initiate.
They're waiting for Jimmy to flank here, Vicky, actually. Yeah. Rascal's got the duplicate. If they don't spot Jimmy soon, this could be very, very bad news for the supports.
Oh, and he found Alarm talking about fighting the back line. And Carpe, who thought they were safe as Alarm was helping him out. That's a great start here if you're the Hunters, you're making your way over to the payload. Now having that number advantage in the pocket, Rascal used that duplicate to copy the Mercy to at least help out that sustainability to make up for Toby's absence, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. The number advantage is too much with the Hunters managing to get this payload moving.
Wow, they were just buying time for Jimmy to just sneak back around the back. They must have been watching some solo queue VODs. It does feel, when I watch Reaper, personally, I do feel like a lot of the plays are just like solo QE-esque plays that don't normally work out in Overwatch League level, or at least you don't think they will. But it's kind of the double bait, where they're like, they won't take the silly super long flank route, right? It's, why would you do that? That's kind of dumb in high level competitive play. But then it just kind of works because they don't expect it. Look, he's ready to just TP up onto the high ground. Like, this is ridiculous. Hunters.
Death blocking to only
insta-sled.
put
All
it
right.
to sleep. They saw him from so far away. Oh, gets sent all the way back. But look at the way that the rest of the Hunters are playing into this. They were so fixated on Jimmy. Now he's back in this fight, and he'll have Death Blossom. Meanwhile, Leave is absolutely tearing things up again on this duplicate Primal. He dives right back into the fight, but Mono's found a pick himself. They've lost Carpe in this fight, but it's going to allow the Hunters to win this trade and actually shove the Fusion off.
Yeah, that was 1000% worth from Jimmy there dying. He not only did he waste the nade, but also the sleep as well from Alarm. Just allow both Winstons to jump in, Leave obviously copying the Winston being the other one. That was insane. They're going to get onto the bridge too. This is a lot of easy progression made here by the Hunters.
Oh, but it gets stopped with Leave going down. It's going to be Jimmy with a Death Blossom. He does so much damage. You have to respect that. Luckily, though, Hoppa is right there with the Matrix. Carpe does lose it to Elsa, the baby diva. And Nisha's right there to help out. Can we get a mech kill? We haven't seen that today yet. And Monk goes down. It's going to be a reset for the Hunters.
Yeah, oh boy, that's kind of embarrassing. Losing to a little baby diva. Although hitbox is fairly small and she moves pretty quickly, so yeah. Just saying, I've lost a lot of those duels to the baby divas. I'm sure a lot of you have too. Too small, man, what can I say? Alright, copy available for Leave rather soon. The cart's in a very good position for the Hunters as well.
Oh my God.
Just waiting to engage again. There's the nano boost, you've got to watch out for Leave.
And now Leave has a duplicate too. Now trying to find this fight, and having the fact that you have that duplicate avoiding those sticky bombs, Jimmy and Elsa get antied, but Gaga goes down. Hunters are still fighting these picks, and they're cleaning up around the Fusion. Nisha gets Gaga right back in this fight, and Leave, once again, making an impact on this duplicate. They're slowly making their way with the payload, and they gotta touch the point.
Yeah, they do that just that in time, Vicky. Look, but you're going to get instantly desuited and defect. Oh, no.
No, they're trickling in, Jaws. This is looking grim, and it's looking like the Hunters are going to be able to push this all the way in. They don't even need to get it all the way to point B. The Diva Bomb, and nobody left to touch. Another map in the pockets of the Chengdu Hunters.
Oh man, 2-0 right now over the Philadelphia Fusion. Again, not a spot the Fusion are crazy used to being in, but they've just not looked on form. On the flip side of it though, Hunters, my word. Everybody just kind of popping off. You don't see the play of the game right now, but it's actually Jimmy's nice little clutch at the end, killing off Alarm and then shooting the Valking Mercy too. Hunters looking unstoppable right now, Vicky.
I like this look from the Hunters, but Fusion, their confidence is just not there. They're currently down 2-0. Luckily, though, for the Hunters, they're at match point, and they only need to take this next map to proceed on and have the Philadelphia Fusion in their pocket. Don't go anywhere, because that's going to be on the other side of this break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everyone, and what a day it has been here for the Overwatch League. Looking at the APAC region, Jaws, nothing's going according to plan here, and the Fusion are now down 2-0 to the Hunters, who just need one more map to proceed and take the series.
Oh man, yeah, the Hunters looking so good right now. Jimmy, Leave, Monk, Nisha, well, they're just all having an exceptional time. Flexed onto multiple different comps too. Double shield, seeing this dive with the Reaper. It's looking great, honestly. Nothing's stopping them right now. And a Philadelphia Fusion going to find themselves in one of these kind of classic Philly ruts where it's just kind of tilting, and now it's just kind of, well, we just lose because we've lost 2 maps. It feels like it's happened a few times in the past where Philly have come into the season, the series fairly strong. They look really confident, and then, like you said, they just lose that confidence, and then it's a bit of a cakewalk for the enemy team. I'll have to wait and see if that's the case. Of course, we're going to our third map in just a second. It's going to be Dorado. So again, another map that Hunters could run either or. They could run the double shield here or the dive. More than likely the dive, I can imagine, just because of the high ground that's so prominent on point A and B.
Yeah, and that's the difference that Dorado actually brings, is that verticality that you have to work with, that high ground verticality. And taking a look at the fact that we're going onto a map like Dorado, I want to see some change looking at the Fusion. I want to see that confidence come back to our DPS. I mean, I'm used to seeing Carpe and Rascal pop off, but instead we're seeing these duplicate pop-offs looking at the Hunters and looking at the way that Leave and Jimmy have been performing.
Yeah, they're not really matching up to them currently. Jimmy's just taking these crazy flank routes as well on the Reaper. Yeah. I mentioned it previously, but it's like, it feels like a little bit solo queuey. You know, you just go on the flank and then you find the support or something because they don't hear you coming, or they're concentrating on the front line kind of thing. You just don't really expect it. And finding those small openings is what Jimmy's been doing best. Can you do that on Dorado? Yeah, probably on the Reaper. Not quite as well as our last map, though. That's the only stipulation there. Eichenwalde has a few more twists and turns, a few more dark dungeon corridors that you can walk through if you're the Reaper to try and meet your target. Dorado is an interesting one too, because on the defense, it can be fairly easy to get kind of held in the choke if your tanks are just kind of cycling too. So I'd be pretty worried if I was the Philadelphia Fusion right now. But you got to keep the mentals high. You can bounce back. It's always winnable. You know, that's just what you have to say to yourself to get your head back in the game. I'm sure Carpe and the rest of the squad are doing just that.
Yeah, and hopefully my pick'ems say that to themselves too, because this has been a wild week entering the June Joust. Yeah, and now going into our potential last map. Of course, potential, because if we do have the Fusion start things up, I actually feel like they're very heavily momentum-based. And if they feel that confidence come back to them, we could potentially see a reverse 3-0. But it really does trickle down to the mood that the Fusion bring on going into Dorado.
Yeah, for sure. So who's defending first? It looks like the Hunters are defending first. Of course, you guys can't see. I shouldn't really speak ahead that far, just because you can only see this beautiful map screen. There you go. I do like this big panel, though. It reminds me back in like Season 1, Season 2. The big screen behind the stage. That's what it kind of reminds me of. I'm sure they took a little bit of inspiration from that. That was nice. Remember offline events? They were cool.
Can't relate.
Pretty sweet. Remember homestands? They were pretty sweet.
Can't relate.
Yeah. Doing the first homestand last year in New York, it was a pretty...
I saw that.
It was a pretty nerve-wracking experience, but it's super. At least I find it super easy to kind of just get in the groove and kind of ignore everything else around you, and just like concentrate on the game and just cast and stuff. But oh man, just having the crowd just going crazy whenever big self-destruct kill or like a big Widowmaker kill goes off, like it's so sick. I cannot wait.
Energy's contagious.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot wait to get back to those times, Vicky. Especially with a lot of the explosive gameplay that we've been seeing. Like these comps, they go thick and fast. Like these team fights will not stop. And look how far the Hunters are holding up, by the way, Vicky. They're holding on to the high ground. Like I mentioned before, the cycling of the tanks on the payload to stop people from pushing it that far. Nice anti-nade. And a nice sleep onto Jimmy too. Wow. Okay, Alarm's trying to solo carry right now.
That was a quick gotcha moment. They're tired of Jimmy trying to go in for these flanks, and Alarm calling out Jimmy right there. Now Jimmy's hanging out on this high ground though, and the rest of the Hunters have pulled all the way up.
Yeah, okay, he's been spotted. We've seen a couple of cheeky Reaper kills onto Echoes recently, which should definitely never happen. Speaking of which, Jimmy almost got the kill on the Mercy there. Got to be a little bit careful, though. The Leech, by the way, is helping him out so much. Reaper shotguns have the Leech, a small bit of life steal when he shoots somebody. It's helping a lot in these engagements here, Vicky.
Yeah, and it allowed Gaga to finalize that pick, too. So with that quick pick, they're going to be able to go around, but at least Alarm has that nano boost for this engagement. They're struggling on trying to get this corner, but look at the way that Hunters are positioned. I mean, they're hanging out to the high ground, but Alarm gets dove on despite that nade and trying to go in for the sleep, and Gaga that comes out on top, but Rascal trades that. Luckily, though, for the Hunters, they have the number advantage with Nisha getting that res. Despite the duplicate from Leave does have that Diva bomb, but it's a duplicate versus duplicate battle, and it's going to be Leave that gets booted out first. Rascal's going to meet him right there after that. But currently, you have the Fusion down 2 members.
What a crazy nade from downtown there from Monk. Lands straight on Alarm's head, and he instantly dies. So nice from the Hunters. Their defense is looking impeccable at this moment in time. Carby's actually switched over to the Reaper. He's had enough of Jimmy's funny business.
And bringing that fight over to Jimmy's base, and this is going to be interesting to see how Carpet plays that out. Mono gets anti, but he's in the primal, so he's not worried. He wants to make sure that the rest of the Hunters don't sit comfortably on this high ground. You can see those resets, actually, that we were talking about here. It's Leave with the focusing beam onto Toby. That's a big pick, because that just leaves Alarm for the sustainability, and it's not looking like it's enough here with both the DPS falling right afterwards. It's going to be Leave getting a 2K.
They are literally out the spawn doors. Touch the spawn door challenge complete. Achievement unlocked. Like, this is absurd. Nisha is doing a crazy amount of work on this Mercy too. Not only is he pocketing Leave, helping Gaga and everybody else, but Monk is just not getting touched, man. Like, Mono is jumping into the back lines with the Primal Rage and with just his normal Tesla cannon, and he's doing negative damage to Monk because Nisha's always at his back.
And you know that Jimmy has Death Blossom. They saw what Jimmy wanted to go for there. They saw how hungry he was. Just
well, they're going to bait them in, Vicky. Look at them. They're waiting for Jimmy to go in. He's just going to kill everybody.
Jimmy did go in, and he went in the back lines, and he's still unstopped. Just the fact that they knew he was going to do this, they haven't left the spawn doors like you mentioned, Jaws. Can you give them a chance? They have less than a minute now to move this payload around the corner.
Mental boomed, honestly. The Fusion getting held at the spawn.
What is going on?
It's a ridiculous defense. And the Hunters are cycling super well. The saving grace here for the Fusion is going to be this nano onto Mono and then Rascal getting copy here. This fight could decide it all, though. 20 seconds remains.
But Carpet and Rascal lost too much health, and they're down, and now with less than 15 seconds, it's gonna be another cleanup from the Hunters. They just want to make this a team wipe. Papa, though, doesn't let that happen, finds 2. That's at least a great start with the spawn advantage going in favor of the Fusion, but Leave has still not been stopped, and Nisha has the res onto Gaga.
Yeah, Gaga's still in this fight. Jimmy's actually going to come back on the Widowmaker. Mono is in trouble. Hopper's going to have the self-destruct, maybe clear a couple of people off. It doesn't look like Hunters now are backing off. They know they don't have the man advantage or the spawn advantage here. They're taking the fight for high ground now.
And overtime is on board. They need to stay on this payload. It's absolutely crucial, or else that payload's going to stop, and you're going to have the Hunters moving that way over for free if they can get that free real estate. Gaga's taking a sleep despite being antied, and it's going to be Carpe finding that Deadeye pick. Luckily, Fusion are picking up the scraps, and they're picking up the pace as they are able to get this payload moving and find these picks that they've been struggling to find since the very start of this map.
Yeah, OT is here now for the Fusion. Can the Hunters touch? Maybe? Maybe not. Oh, Kaka is there. He could go for the leap over the side. No, okay. They're actually just going to play it super safe. They don't want to stagger some more. Okay. They know how important the high ground is here, especially as now Jimmy is on the Widowmaker.
Look at the position that we're seeing from Hoppa, too. You can see the plan going in full motion, trying to get onto the high ground as well as Mono. And if they could find Jimmy, who is positioned, that's intel for them, but hopefully not at the cost of Alarm. That was a little scary, but the bubble came out to help them rotate into that side room. The Diva Bomb now and the rally from Toby to get them moved out of that situation, but Mono goes down anyways. It's Leave with that focusing beam, and not only that, getting some help from Monk and Nisha. Somebody stop Leave with these insane duplicates. Now having the Diva at the ready to build it to this Diva Bomb, but Carpe's found Jimmy. That's a DPS out, but Leave isn't really much of a DPS, more so the Diva, and Rascal's trying to match that. Leave is out of the duplicate, and he is going to be able to reset before you currently have the rest of the Hunters find their fate back at the spawn. And Yushin right now, Jaws, they're trying to get some momentum, but at least they got it rolling.
Okay, Carpe's pretty angry. Not only did he destroy the cactus, but he destroyed Jimmy too. Nice couple of headshots did end his life, which meant that he could play so much more safe. Rascal as well. They're going to fight in the bank though. My word!
Oh, Gaga actually
like
finding that pick off the Carpe. Yeah, no, Gaga's not letting go. He's jumping around. He means monkey business, and they're funneled over to the side room, so it even makes it easier. And getting mono at the very end, all thanks to Gaga initiating that. Great hold here from the Hunters.
60 seconds remains. Else is going to go for a quick reset as Jimmy sets up on the high ground. Rascal, no longer is he playing the Echo. He's actually on the Reaper. I just want him to stick on this Echo. His duplicates have just not been there at all. I mean, he's found a little bit of value, but not as much as Leave has been. Wow, that's a very aggressive position from Gaga. They could definitely chase him down there, by the way, but I guess they assume maybe he has Primal Rage. He's not really that close to it.
A lot of respect, honestly, is what I'm seeing from the Fusion.
For sure.
And it's because the Hunters are buying that, especially with how often they're winning these trades. You have less than 30 seconds now to get this payload to point B. Got the reset from Hotba and the Diva Bomb, but Gaga's found Toby, and how Hotba's gone down, that just leaves alarm for the sustainability. But with this nano boost, they have mono with the Primal. Rascal's taking a lot of damage, and the anti is what does it in for Rascal. But they're not able to really get anything moving from the Fusion. It's the Hunters that are successfully kept them at bay. They're stalling for as long as possible here, Jaws, but how long until they trickle in like we've seen before?
Oh, the clone on to the Winston, but no, Gaga's already dead. Leave's clone was way too late, Vicky.
Oh, what is, they keep winning these fights at the very end. Overtime again. It's like they love it when they see overtime on board. They love the pressure. Now Hoppa's getting into position to hang on to the high ground, and Mono's gonna dive right in. They've found Jimmy. Luckily, Monk and Nisha are right there, and they have their ultimates, but they're gonna reset here before trying to dive in before this second point gets captured by Fusion.
Yeah, they've already used Rally too. The Fusion are in a sore situation. Monk's gonna nano leave as he goes in.
Oh, Hoppa melted Jimmy there too, and Gaga is taking a nap. It's gonna be Carpe that tries to have the Deadeye, but it's Lee that finds two first. Now Carpe waking up Gaga out to the side, and he gets anti too, but you still have the Hunters fighting so many picks. The way that they kept winning these team fights, Jaws, really sets up how the Hunters are feeling against the Fusion.
Oh my word. That kind of sucks for Carpe there. He didn't have enough time to try and set something up, but even if he did, the Primal Rage and Winston can't really be insta-killed without like a Discord orb or something. Oh my goodness. You said it, I think you summed it up perfectly, Vicky. I'm going to be honest with you. Philadelphia Fusion like fighting in OT. This is the only time they can actually find a semblance of a fight. Okay, so 1 point and 90 or so meters is Chengdu Hunters' goal here. First fight is going to be important. Are the Fusion actually going to hold at the spawn doors? Have they got the confidence to do that? The Chengdu Hunters, they don't care at all. They're going to take the fight to you regardless. And I think that's just the Hunters' motif as well. Even if you look back at previous years too, they don't care where they fight. Like I feel like they're confident in their own right. They don't really ever look super shaky. They just love playing their own style of game. Oh, double projectile start? Nah, it just looks like maybe they're just going for a Halt Hook to start off, to if anybody's being rather cheeky. Carpe's on Widow. This definitely means he wants to go for this kind of solo carry more than anything else. It's a very good Widow map though. A lot of very long sight lines, and it's hard for someone to go for that big engagement. You have to commit multiple resources into closing that gap. Halt Hook, or are they actually just staying with the Hog? Wow, they're staying with Hog Orisa. Okay. Knowing that Alarm is going to play Ana, they've got a lot of shield pressure, but Elsa's just going to be a battery for Rascal to charge up on.
And we've seen this before. That actually negated the take a breather.
Yeah, okay,
I know we talked
back.
about that yesterday. Yeah, they're going to change things up, especially since, you know, when you have a Carpe on the Widow, they want to make sure that Carpe could get contested, other than just Leave being around to help put in that pressure onto the back lines.
Okay, another specialty for the Hunters as well, Vicky. Just this Wrecking Ball dive with Leave on the Echo. Oh, he should be fine. Yeah, no focusing beat from Rascal. They don't want to chase too far, otherwise they'll give up way too much space. And you have to commit multiple people to actually finish off the Wrecking Ball because he's so quick and he can grab those health packs to regen all of his HP. Again, a lot of space and respect that they're paying right now. Even Carpe too, just sitting on the ground. No, he can't really peek. Doesn't know where Jimmy is currently. As soon as he has sights on him, or his team does, he can go for something more aggressive.
Yeah, Rascal could help retaliate some of that information. They are trying to get aggressive here, turning the corner, the choke point with the payload. Once again, they had such a troublesome time taking this, but it's Leave that has that focusing beam, and they shut down Leave before he gets anything else done. And this seems to be what we've seen coming out of Leave, where he's always finding these 2 picks. Carpe is hanging out in the back, and you worded it right there, where he's been playing extremely patient. They've been giving a lot of that space over to the Hunters, and it's just respect that they were able to buy for themselves. Leave is back in this fight, and it's going to be Jimmy that's found Rascal first. Toby's there. Maybe he could try to get a res if he hasn't used it yet, but it's going to be Nisha now. Not only getting anti, but getting taken out, and Toby does get Rascal back in this fight.
What a shot from Carpe.
Finding that head, doming Monk, and now the Diva Bomb coming in from the skies. Luckily, everybody is taking position behind cover. Jimmy still found Alarm's head, a trade for a head and head. Monk will be able to come back with his ultimate to nano boost, but so does Leave and Jimmy. Currently with this old economy though, you have the Fusion that are not too far behind.
Gaga's, is he actually going to spawn trap Alarm?
Oh,
no way. He's just going to shoot it in too to try and make him waste resources before he actually goes in. Yeah, now the rest of the team are going to convene on him. And now Emphasize popped as well. That would have been disastrous if Alarm went down there. He didn't want to jump down on him because he would have just gotten slept, and a couple of people could have helped finish off the Wrecking Ball. It was a really smart play there from Gaga. Mines in the back though.
Mines in the back and also sleeping on the mines. And now Leave has a duplicate onto the Ana, tries to get that sleep in. Big anti though onto Gaga and Nisha. Luckily, and Nisha going all in, taking care of business in their own hands. Currently have the Hunters winning this trade, and Hoppa is going to meet the rest of Toby and Mono in the spawn. This is looking scary as the rest of the Hunters now make their way over to this first point, but they did waste a lot of time in the process, Jaws.
Yeah, they did. These fights are so scrappy. It's been decided by the Widowmakers. Jimmy and Carpe finding picks at the very end of fights when the Mercies don't have the resurrection available. That's what's really kind of snowballing here. It's never really been a true 6v6. It's always felt 5v5, 5v4, because these Widowmakers are finding so many headshots. Again, another good spot for Carpe to kind of be in. They can play fairly defensive because the checkpoint or the golden box of victory is fairly close to the second point itself, so you can see it just down there on the bottom right of your screen. So they can play fairly passive here, although you don't want to give too much high ground up, especially if Leave is going to take it with Gaga, because that means Jimmy can get on high and Carpe is going to have a little bit more to deal with. Speaking of that, yeah, Gaga is going to pay him a little visit.
Gaga has just been absolutely tear on the back lines. If you can find Carpe, oh, he gets put to sleep. They're tired of Gaga, but that's a resource wasted into Gaga. Luckily, it was way worth it, too, because now they've lost Monk and Jimmy, so that's finding a 3 here for the Fusion to hold this defense.
Yeah, Gaga's just waiting for people to go in, or he's going to initiate at the same time as Leave. If you lose one person, you have to kind of scurry back to spawn and get
reset.
A regroup going. Oh, but Carpe ends up going down to Jimmy, just an easy grapple shot. There should be a free resurrection. Yeah, no one's there to actually disturb it. Oh, Carpe's in trouble again, though. He's dead.
Oh, they found him. The way that they waited that out, did they wait for Toby to actually get that res? And now the Hunters have the number advantage, having Gaga back in this fight after that res from Nisha. And look at these ultimates that are online. I mean, you currently have the Fusion to try to match that, but the rest of the Hunters are already here to disrupt the pieces. It's going to be Lee that has the Diva Bomb and the duplicate. He takes it out. And before getting Alarm, he still got Alarm with it. That's huge here, but the res came out from Toby, and that's Toby's perception just completely split up here. That focus, Hopla gets back into the mech. No one gets taken out by that mech, even though it does 250 damage now. Jimmy's on the side, and no one's contesting him. If he finds that pick onto Toby, that could be crucial after that Valk is already worn out. They don't have eyes on him just yet, almost getting the D-mech and the reset. Elsa's antied now, and the way that this is playing so spread apart, Jaws, is so chaotic.
Self-destruct, Carpe finds yet another head. Elsa's going to go down.
Oh! Now Monk is matched with that. Toby gets the res, and at the very end, the Fusion have been able to hold their own despite Jimmy having that off angle for so long.
Okay, 50 seconds remains now for the Hunters, but they got dupe. They have, what, maybe mines. They got Valkyrie. They're going to have Nano for this last fight, and Fusion used so much there. They haven't got Nano. They've only got mines to stave off all this aggression, and Russell's nowhere near his duplication. Rough spot for the Fusion to be in. This is a final now chance for them to defend in this series and keep themselves alive in it.
Really trickles down to that economy that they have to juggle around, especially when it comes to the Hunters.
And Rascal's already dead.
Yeah, and Rascal's out. That's already another disadvantage for the Fusion. And the duplicate right back over to the Ana. Nisha's out of this fight though as Carpe comes back, finding that head. He's getting harassed over to the side, but if he can find another pick, luckily he has Alarm to help him out. They put Gaga to sleep, but they wake him up at the same time as long as they manage to hold this payload. And Gaga's so fixated in the backlines, they split up their forces with this minefield and the rotation. If they can't get on the point, then you currently have the Hunters moving this payload for free.
Couple more meters, but Leave ends up going down.
Oh, Leave is done, and
are you serious?
At the very end? What? What a way to stop the momentum at the very end.
This could be an auto pause actually. If the server detects a DC of any, not any kind, I'm not entirely sure exactly what it requires, but if there's like a random DC or anything, the server can just auto pause to make sure that nothing's disrupted. But this is right at the very end. This
overtime,
could be...
Jaws. It's overtime, and they're literally like 2 meters away from getting to the golden box of all the treasures here for the Hunters. What a way to just pause everything. It looks like everyone is rejoining, but wow, I mean, just what a way to end the potential end of the series, I guess. But what is going on here?
Everybody looking like they're ready. Like this could just, we could get back into game, and this could just instantly end. So, yeah.
I mean, Mono is right there.
Yeah, so Gaga, we left Gaga about to pile drive, just slam down and kill Carpe, maybe. And Nisha just got the res on Jimmy, which is good. By the way, the hero of this fight, I will quickly wrap back into the game rather than just kind of joshing around here. The hero of this fight currently is Gaga, 100%. He's distracting 2 players of the Fusion, both Alarm and Carpe, so they can't do anything. We are going back into the game as we speak. A couple of seconds remains while OT is here. They just need to push people off, Vicky.
Yeah, it's been Mono who's been able to hold on to this payload since before the pause. We saw that earlier, but Toby's gone down. Yeah, Toby's dead, and that all started out from an anti too. Elsa has the Diva Bomb, and Monk now is antied, but Monk doesn't get taken out here. Instead, it's going to be Gaga, and that's going to be the disruption that you made mention of. The backline's gone here, and the Diva Bomb now not finding Hoppa. Hoppa's retaliating right back, and luckily Mono is still holding his own. The overtime, and nobody's there. They respected it because of the Diva Bomb. Philadelphia Fusion, by the skin of their teeth, hold the Hunters back.
Man, that was a spawn advantage there at the very end. And as well, Hopper scurrying behind the payload to make sure he doesn't demech from the self-destruct sent out by the Hunters. Whoa, that was almost extraordinarily anticlimactic, us just jumping back in. But Philadelphia Fusion, Vicky, they're still in the series. They are still in it to win it. Hunters haven't walked away with the series just yet. This is getting extremely close. Maybe the Hunters or the Philadelphia Fusion go for the first sweep. Maybe so. Not entirely sure. We've got another map coming up soon. We're going to jump to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Way at their bamboo sticks is going to be the Chengdu Hunters, but you currently have them up a lead 2-1 against the Philly Fusion, who just finally took their first map in the series on Dorado.
Yeah, the sun is rising, and so are the hopes and dreams of the Philly fans as they're keeping themselves alive in the series. Only just, though. It was really down to spawn advantage. Hotbird 2 staying alive in the mech, not getting desuited with the self-destruct. I thought Gaga was actually just going to win it for them there as well on Dorado. He was distracting Carpe and Alarm for so long, basically making it a 5v4 in the favor of the Hunters, but Fusion, they're still in the series. Vicky, they can still go all the way. The reverse sweep is still on the table.
Yeah, I like how you highlighted Gaga because, you know, they take a look at Gaga and Ball, and that's the specialty that we've always seen. The Gaga specialty where he doesn't die. He does so much chaos. He was hanging on the back lines nearly the entire time, but at the very end, the Fusion managed to take that defense and hold it down. The Diva Bomb at the very end especially really helped control a lot of that space. Hopefully, though, this is going to bring that momentum back to the Fusion, give them some of that confidence that we saw them kind of throw away in the last two maps. It looked like they felt like it wasn't going to be doable. And luckily now with that map in the books for them, they could start rebuilding some of that confidence that we're so used to seeing.
Yeah, maybe they can. We're going on to Temple of Anubis as our next map. Assault can be a tricky one, especially if you're on the defense. I can imagine now Hunters just go back to that double shield that they showed off at the very start of the series on Busan. Seems like the best place for it, but we'll have to wait and see what they want to do. A couple of people are in and out of the lobby, so maybe a couple of changes for the Hunters. No changes, of course, for the Fusion. Same old kind of comps, but it's been a tough upwards hill battle. Carpe just kind of had to clutch it out at the very end. A lot of key headshots on Baby Divas that were trying to get in the resuit or just putting pressure on the backline as well. Creating a zone of denial, basically, with the sightline of the Widowmaker on that final point on Dorado, or the second point, which was the final point, of course. Yeah, tough. Fusion, still, they're not out of the woods. Chengdu Hunters still not to be messed with. I want to see how the Fusion tackle the Chengdu Hunters double shield, because how they were doing it last time was basically nanoing in Mano and then hoping he'd survive long enough and absorb a lot of cooldowns for the rest of the Fusion to actually just jump on the tanks and kill them. A lot of the fights were just decided by Alarm, hitting a big anti-nade and then going in from there.
Yeah, and that seems to be what we'd seen for the first two maps too, and Mono taking a lot of that damage to start the engagement. But at the same time, Mono actually failed a lot of the times whenever they were able to engage. Sometimes he was able to jump right back towards the team for that sustainability, but overall, the Hunters have been putting on so much pressure, and we talked about that respect being given over from Fusion to Hunters, and I think that trickled part of it into part of it. So now going on to Anubis, a map that could really heavily favor Hunters, especially with the composition that we've seen them play. I'm a little worried looking at the Fusion.
Yeah, I'm pretty worried too. It looks like we're just sorting a couple of the lobbies out, I believe. Not entirely sure what happened there with that DC either. Hopefully everything's all right on the tech front. Yeah, but we're going in fairly soon. It's been a day of Overwatch, that's for sure. It's odd.
My pick'ems. My pick'ems are crying.
Everybody's pick'ems are absolutely boomed. It's crazy. I really do feel sorry for anybody trying to win that Widowmaker statue there if you just got utterly boomed today. It's cool that we're giving out little prizes too, mind you. Pick'ems.overwatchleague.com if you haven't filled yours out already. I'm sure you have, at least most of you will have done at this point. And yeah, good morning, America too. I know it's, what time is it near you? It's 7, right?
Oh, it's actually about to be 9 in the morning, but it doesn't feel like that at all. I've been up for almost 24 hours now, but you know what? It's gamer hours here, and as we do wait out for the lobby to load in, guys, we're gonna throw it to a quick break, and we'll have some more Overwatch League action coming to you guys soon.
In my mind, he is the boy wonder of Overwatch right now. That kind of precision is unnatural. Someone check that boy's mouse. Carpe is ridiculous.
We about to turn it up.
From the shadows, he emerges. Carpe from the top ropes. Oh!
Headshot after headshot. He's finding his marks.
Carpe, what are you doing? This is unbelievable. Oh my goodness. I think that was the kill. Yeah,
Does it count though if it's from the turret though?
Yeah.
Perfect stick by Carpe though.
The superstar player turning it around. Headshots coming out.
Oh, he's getting everybody.
Carpe coming up clutch once again.
Nice sleep though. Alarm, aka nap time, just hitting everything right now.
Alarm so clutch, man.
This was what we were promised when this guy was joining the league.
Alarm saves the day for the Philly Fusion. Hey guys, welcome back. Apologies for the delay. Couple of issues with the server apparently. Hopefully we'll be getting you into the action once again. To remind you, Chengdu Hunters are 2-1 up over the Fusion currently. Fusion can make it back. Maybe. We'll see. Reverse sweep on the card still. But we are going to jump to a quick break. Hopefully we'll get stuff sorted. Keep an eye on the page. We'll see you in a bit.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
backline lead. They're still fighting Carpe. What is Carpe has been able to clean up this backline, whereas you have Leaf trying to put in so much of this work, and they're still finding these picks, Jaws. Especially here that the Bob is going to have to try to attack on some of that damage, and the Gravitic Flux though is going to stop Carpe, get that follow. Carpe took a lot of that damage initially, but Elsa also cleans up Rascal. That's both DPS out. Was a big, oh, that Bob's still from Mono though. Despite him trying to take some cover, the rocket for Hangzhou. Oh, but he's gone! He's gone! That's Sleep! Alarm! I got my eyes on you, and that was absolutely humongous. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for your patience as we get set up here between the Fusion and the Hunters. I mean, so far, Jaws, it's been a wild ride looking at the rest of the APAC region and looking at the West region earlier on yesterday. We had some technical difficulties, but it looks like the teams are loaded into the lobby, and it looks like we're getting ready to go soon. Yeah, I think Nisha said they're ready, so hopefully we're good. We should be able to get back in momentarily. Yeah, actually, this game, or this series at least, kind of reminds me of the last time they faced off. Of course, I'm sure you did see it in the clips that were just played, with the sleep dart on the nano barrage on the far end and dropping in as well. Yeah, over the wall.
Where it went literally the full distance, the complete full distance. We were talking control 99% to 1-to-1, like... This series may be looking a little something like that. I mean, the Hunters are looking great right now, though. They're looking fantastic. Dorado, maybe a little bit of a hiccup, but Fusion and Carpe especially kind of stepping into his own once again. We get into the game, I can hear the music, and then it instantly smashed with a pause screen.
Oh.
That's great. Hopefully that'll just be something rather brief. Yeah, it doesn't like anybody's DC. There was actually a player called for the pause there, so that's a good thing. It's not just like the server auto pausing.
But taking a look at the yeah, aside from these DCs and, you know, getting this reset, look, yeah, this is a player pause, probably just trying to get set up and making sure everything's working great. But before we get into this and highlighting how the Hunters have been doing so far within the series, this is the same team that got 3-0'd by the Shanghai Dragons yesterday. But this, although it was a 3-0, they didn't do bad at all. I felt like they just unfortunately got outplayed. But you could see how strong of a team the Hunters have been, including their performance in the May Melee and now in the June Joust, and being able to see how they're doing versus the Fusion currently. Despite the Fusion taking the last map on Dorado, the Hunters only need one more map to be able to take the entire series 3-1.
Yeah, they do. They're so close on the precipice of taking the series, and looking fairly good going into the later weeks of the qualifications for the June Joust. So I'm excited. If you're a Hunters fan, this is a good place for you to be in. Leaf's looking great, Jimmy's looking great, the whole team is looking fantastic, and on multiple comps too, mind you. So it's very much a meta where I believed Hunters could thrive in. They weren't great on the rush with the Rhine or anything. They opted for more of the divey style and putting Leave on the Farah too. We might see a little bit of that. Maybe, we'll see. But Echo seems to be like the more popular pick at the moment, just because the viability with cloning or duplicating the Winston or the Diva, or even Xayah, as we've seen as well. Just being able to build up a grav so quick is obviously very important. Gaga, master it all as well. His Wrecking Ball is fantastic. Winston's great. His Orisa as well is also surprisingly good. Here we go. Okay, we're actually in game. Everybody's ready. We're about to start it. It's going to be Anubis. And it's funny how close these color schemes are as well, Vicky. It's almost, if you took a quick glance, you'd have to quickly check that Philadelphia Fusion are the slightly darker shade of orange. But Anubis is going to be our assault map now, as we see the Hunters on defense. Okay, so they're not running what I thought they'd run. I thought they'd run double shield here, but they're actually going to stick Gaga on the ball instead, a comp that they ran a couple of weeks ago, and everybody kind of went, haha, you know, it's Chengdu. But we've seen a little bit more of it recently with the Wrecking Ball or the Monkey alongside Orisa. And this is just going to allow Jimmy to sit all the way at the back, and Gaga to even go for these big counter dives too, if Jimmy is ever pressured.
And Gaga's been doing so well too in pressuring the back line of the Fusion, as we do get set up now. And it's to note that so much could change when you have hero pools and you don't have Tracer to really work with, especially Zenyatta that could do so much damage to the ball using that Discord. It's going to be Carpe, though, that tries to intimidate them off of that high ground, not giving them any free real estate, as we do get set up on the choke point now.
These dives are going to be deadly too from the Hunters. Gaga jumping in, Lee following up with the damage boosted sticky bombs or damage boosted anything is going to be fairly deadly. Holt is a big thing to think about too if you're also diving. Holt reduced cooldown a couple of patches ago is going to make life for Winston a little bit more difficult. You can see already him having to back off, in fact getting defense matrix that entire time. But it's going to be the same game plan for the Philadelphia Fusion here. Just build up towards this nano and then go for this big one and done engage.
As long as Mono doesn't get pressured out, just like we've seen him do before, they did. It's Leave with the focusing beam, getting into position, and you made mention of the fact that they've kind of dived and followed from Mono, but Mono's just been taking too much damage from the Hunters, and with that pick, that's going to put a dent to their plans, but they're still bringing this fight over to Rascal, and it's going to be Leave finding two. You brought that fight over to Leave after he just finished taking care of one of his members of Fusion, Mono, and now Toby and Rascal are going to meet their fate.
Well, Vicky, I spoke about the counter dive from Gaga there. He was on the little platform at the top left. And as soon as Mono jumped in, Gaga just jumped straight in too and just pile drived him. Got knocked up in the air, couldn't do much, couldn't jump out because I think his jump actually got interrupted too.
Yeah.
Sights now for Jimmy, waiting for this grapple up from Carpe maybe, but the Nano Winston's going to start the engagement.
Yeah, and Leave has the duplicate too. The focusing beam now from Rascal is going to hit Nisha, and Gaga is sleeping here. Leave, if they could get the Diva Bomb and go in for reset, at least does have it here. Now tries to utilize it over to the side room, but a little bit spread out here. Finds two from the support. Leave every single time of these duplicates, it still gives them the nano boost. Why don't you just clean things up here while Mono is having this primal rage, absolutely having this tantrum, but it's working out for Fusion, finding three, luckily, despite Lee popping off and taking care of the support lineup. It doesn't matter because the Fusion had the sustainability that they needed themselves.
Yeah, there's a sustain. Two tanks are up and then a duplicate on another tank as well to keep Rascal alive in the fight. Looks like they might want to go for a re-engagement. Maybe Gaga's got the mines.
Oh, that's exactly what he's doing right here, and he cuts off the rotation to the point two with those mines, and they could safely actually have that health pack over to the side room since those mines are blocking the way, and here comes Gaga doing Gaga things as we see rolling out of that situation. Now going to be able to disrupt the piece in the back lines as Leave now found Hot Bus, but the destruction has taken care of Leave and Gaga. So many members of the Hunters are going down, just leaving Monk for the sustainability after Nisha goes down. Luckily though for the Fusion, they're in a really good position, not only on the high ground, but now with Mono diving in. It doesn't matter though, the ante is the reason why Jimmy finds that, but they're going to take that fight and they're going to take that point while they're at it.
Yeah, they actually burned a lot of ults though. Very, very nice play from the Hunters there. Not only did Toby use his Valk, in fact he's switching, so I guess it doesn't even matter. Carpe used his sights, and Hopper also used his self-destruct. Two of those picks actually switched, so you know, it didn't matter in the end. But Hopper using the self-destruct there, pretty nice for the Hunters, especially if you're someone like Leave too, who wants to be able to dodge out of the skies. That self-destruct normally aimed at the Echo, or at least displacing her enough to so people can find the kills on her.
Gaga already getting set up in the back. Can they focus down on Gaga before he gets away? Lee found Toby? Where was Toby even positioned over to the side? I mean, Toby looked like he was trying to hang out with the rest of the team, but Leave now coming over to the side room, and now he's going to be able to use that focusing beam on Hotba, D-Mech Hotba while they're at it, and now that means they have no tanks and nobody else left from the rest of Fusion. That's a lot of time taken away. A 3-minute time back that they got for themselves after that first point.
Yes, indeedy. Not a bad time bank whatsoever. Leave with the duplicate still can dive in. It's just a classic clone the monkey or clone the diva. Dive in with Gaga. He has been slept actually from afar. Are they going to be able to capitalize on this? No, they can't.
He's taking a lot of damage now because he has Nisha right there. Nisha's constantly helping him out in the process, is making it so difficult, but he got booped right into him? What? Gaga with the follow-up too? Jimmy closing that out on Carpe. He's taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. Look at the amount of damage that Jimmy's putting on, bringing it close quarters. And oh, Lord, Remo doesn't want to take that fight. He's anti too. He took so much damage. Luckily, Toby is right there to help him out.
Monk. Monk, kill me. Thank you. Okay. He got anti. Luckily, he had the shift there. That was would have been extremely unlucky. He would have been able to spawn rather quickly though. No Lucio on the side of the Fusion. It would have been alright, but another very aggressive fight from Gaga. He gets punished for it. He does... Oh, they kill Mono though. Okay, Mono was actually on the high ground. He jumped up and was like, I'm safe from the mine. Straight into the laser beam of Believe and dies.
Saw that option coverage right there from Leave. Yeah, great positioning though, and Carpe now has that dead eye. Take a look at the ult economy though from both these teams. Looking like the Fusion now have some tools to work with.
Yeah, they do. Hopper's got a self-destruct, create a lot of space on Anubis. There are a lot of places to hide, but sending it right down the middle will stop the supports from engaging. Speaking of engagements, 3-man anti.
Oh, and Hoppa's gonna reset. Luckily, Alarm stayed alive, but not Toby. And Hoppa found the Diva Bomb kill off of Jimmy. And Jimmy's still doing so. He did so much damage before that, though. Here comes Alarm, the anti, taking care of Nisha. Rascal on the duplicate and getting that reset and making sure that that melee attack was gonna be it to take out Monk. The way that this has been going back and forth, Nisha coming into this fight with the Valk, trying to help out Leave, who's been such a threat here. Carpe now trying to find that mark, but Jimmy's taking care of Alarm, and now that's a support down for the Fusion.
I mean, this has just got Chengdu written all over it. Like, they're taking the fight to the spawn of the Fusion again. It's like we're watching Dorado. They're taking the fight to the gates. It's absurd. Carpe goes down there in the middle of it. I'm like, okay, that's great. You managed to kill off one of the supports on the Chengdu Hunters, but it doesn't matter because they just all hold W at the same time and then focus down Carpe, and then the Fusion have to reset. This is absurd amounts of aggression. They're going to go in again.
Yeah, Mono now trying to initiate.
Oh, really?
It's going to be Jimmy. You know what he's
hiding
up to.
in dark. Is this actually going to work?
Oh,
surely they know.
Oh, he's creeping. Maybe trying to teleport onto the high ground. If they don't catch him, though, that's some intel that they can at least relate to the rest of the team, knowing that he's got that Death Blossom, too. Leave also with that duplicate really trickles down to what Leave does with this duplicate, seeing how he's been able to make an impact in the other maps.
He's got Shift available. He's got Death Blossom. He's actually knocked down by the Diva.
Oh, but Carpe finds a dead-eye pick off of Nisha.
They didn't touch. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
This time around, they weren't wiped out. This time around, they weren't wiped out. They were right there, and they had tools to work with right there, Jaws.
No. Okay, I need a replay of that at the very end, because there must have been a boop. There must have been something that stopped them from getting to the point there. Oh, come on. No way.
And they got 2 picks, too. They got 2 picks at the start.
I was about to say, they got 2 picks at the start of that fight, and they still don't touch point. Oh, that is salt in the wounds if you're Fusion right now. You can, like, look at their expressions on their faces currently. They're a little bit defeated, maybe. The Hunters have a prime win condition now. They take first point, and then they only need 33% on second. And it can sometimes be quite an easy snowball as well if you get the right staggers. Oh, man. I want to know what's happening in the Fusion camp right now. Deflated? Yeah. Yeah.
If I am, I can only imagine the Fusion. Especially when we were talking about how heavy they are with the mentality. Yeah, that too. That pauses momentum overall.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a team all about momentum, these pauses really, really do put a stick in the cogs of the bike wheel, right? Man, this is tough if you're the Fusion right now. Rascal, Carpe, they're on the Echo and the Ash. Carpe can sit all the way in the background. I really like Ash on this map. There's so many small choke points that you have to run through, and the Dynamites do so much damage. I was hoping Leave would stick on the Doom, but I don't think we'll be treated to that just yet. The only issue is Jimmy will have a range advantage over Carpe. The Ash got nerfed quite a while ago, so you can't one-shot headshot people with damage boost anymore if they're 200 HP. Nice 2-man anti to start it. Gaga might die, or Elsa? No, that's actually just a lot of free ult charge from Monk there. Not too bad. Look at that ult charge. Boom. 50% already. Nisha didn't heal the tanks there at all. They know the nano boost is a key to success here for the Hunters.
Yeah, they have a plan in mind. We've been seeing that play out, but that's not according to the plan. And with Gaga going down, it's going to put a dent to their plans. Leave and Monk are antied, and Leave is still losing a lot of that health. Luckily, though, being able to heal up Leave is going to build into those ultimates that we were looking at.
That's not great, though. Monk, Gaga going down there gives a lot of ult charge to Carpe. Sometimes you can kind of stave off a nano push with a Bob. If Carpe can manage to farm a Bob at this point, it'll be pretty good. But it looks like they got nano first. They're looking for a target for it, and they get Leave.
Oh, and yeah, and what better player to put it on than to Leave, especially trying to do so much of that damage with the focusing beam on earlier. He's going to back off, though, and they're just trying to control that space. They know that the rest of Fusion are in that side room, but Mono's found Nisha, and Monk is antied. A bad situation to be in if you're the support lineup of the Hunters. Great performance between Mono and Hotba to ensure that they got more of that follow-up from the anti there. Carpe too with these dynamites, so you're gonna have that Bob online for this next fight.
Really nice ult cycling as well for the Fusion currently. They've got Bob, they're going to have Copy soon. They have both tank ultimates as well, and the Valkyrie coming online. Jimmy is switched over from the Widow, doesn't want to play that anymore, going back to the Reaper. This is good. So Mano has to play a little bit more scared now. They've only got the Copy really to work with in a second. They're going to have Salvage Stroke, maybe the Primal, unless Gargant just gets blown up like he did before. Wow, they don't know Jimmy's here. Okay, they finally check
yeah,
it.
they just did at the very end. Yeah, he was able to wraith out of that situation to the health pack, luckily, but they do have their eyes over to the side. If they force him off the high ground, that's going to be the initiative for Hunters, and Leave with the duplicate has already built up the Primal. Jimmy found the first pick here in this fight, but Monk is low. They trade that for both Anas, and the duplicate is still leaving its mark, with Leave just swiping away at everybody else, controlling so much space. Luckily, Nisha got into position to res Monk, and that's the difference maker, because now Toby's down as Alarm has to make his way over to help out the rest of Fusion. Oh, but Hoppa coming to save the day, Jaws, and Rascal to match that. He wants to be just like Hoppa, and that's when the duplicate comes into play, but now they both have found themselves falling through.
They're still coming to the point though, Vicky. I mean, they might be able to get 2 ticks here. Spawn advantage very much in favor of the Hunters. They're going to be able to regroup at 6 momentarily.
Still laughing at the duplicate Diva Bomb that we saw from Rascal and Hoppa at the same time too. Now backing off though, the nano boost from Monk is gonna come onto Mono, but he took so much damage. Again, it's Leave with the focusing beam. Every time Mono wants to get something started with this nano boost, he's constantly shut down.
Almost a minimum of a draw here for the Hunters if they manage to cap it, but Mono gets rezzed.
Oh, everyone's trickled over to the side room, but that doesn't stop Leave, and he resets quickly with this duplicate, and they still find these numbers around Fusion. Chengdu Hunters currently are doing so well, getting that team wipe, and now they're moving on to that second point.
They might just
That
get it.
3-minute time
push
break, he's
people
still
off.
going in. Oh, trying to get the first tick already, wasting no time. Leave is absolutely out of this world right now within this match. Talk about momentum. Mono slept, he took so much damage, forced out the Primal, but they take out Monk in the process with Rascal's focusing beam instead.
Well, that could have ended right there and then. Luckily enough, Hopper managed to get back to the point in order to contest. They still got 3 minutes though, and they only need 33%. That's one good fight, Vicky, and it could be all over. Hunters could walk away with a big fat W on their scorecard. They've got Primal Rage, they've got a lot of ults. In fact, Nisha's even got the beat for this next fight. This looks almost unlosable, especially since Toby does no way near the rally. Maybe the Bob does something, but a beat is going to counter that so easily.
Putting Jimmy to sleep once again. Luckily, though, he's got Elsa right there to help him out. Nisha, though, gets antied and wiped out by Rascal, and that means they won't have the sound barrier for this engagement. They're going to want to wait that out, but it doesn't matter. Take a look at this ult economy that the Hunters have to work with. They're sitting pretty comfortably here.
Super comfortably. I mean, you just want to wait out for Nisha again. He can get back to the point. You've 6 ults lined up. 4 ults even almost for the Fusion, though. I mean, the ideal copy here, again, would be the Winston. They're going to go make a swift engagement. Mano's going to be the target.
Oh, and Leave is about to have the duplicate too. The sound barrier to start this initiation now. It's going to be Mano who finds Elsa first. That's a big pick off, and with Gaga taking a nap, he gets woken up. Mono now trying to find his dive. Doesn't get anything, but the anti is what finalizes Jimmy and Gaga. They didn't actually waste too much in ultimates, but it's a great start for Fusion to build into a line of their own, but they wasted a good amount, minus Mono and Toby that will have their ultimates for this upcoming fight.
Wow, Fusion used 4 ults in that fight. They're going to have rally soon, but Chengdu Hunters didn't invest much. They invested 2 tank ultimates and the beat. They still have Nano, Copy, and a Death Blossom. If they really wanted to, Nano Death Blossom, it's worked out for them in the past. They could execute that again. Philadelphia Fusion looking like they want to play Hunters their own game, holding forward there for a brief moment, but they end up backing off. I think it's more just to feed Toby charge at this point. He needs that rally online for this engage.
This is going to be so important. It's up to Nisha, though. He has to fill that in, but Toby will be able to help out the rest of the Fusion. Now diving in with the duplicate, too. It's Leave. He has it at the ready. He gets stunned, and it's Jimmy now bringing a lot of this fight here. The rally is online from Toby. Hoppa gets demeched in the process, so that rally not really helping him out. It's going to be Leave with the duplicate. You can see the way that the Hunters are playing this. They're trying to spread out the Fusion. They're losing so much health, and Jimmy's gone down from Toby. You saw that Jimmy was on his tail for so long, and this anti takes out Elsa and Nisha were fighting a trade in numbers, but it's the Fusion that have more of those numbers in their side. And now less than 30 seconds for the Hunters to get that first tick. Only the first tick.
That was so clutch there, Vicky. Toby managed to get that rally off just in time. Everybody was carrying the corner and they interrupted Jimmy's Death Blossom. He couldn't do any damage with it. It ended up just falling over. A Reaper versus Armor, not so great whatsoever. 10 seconds remains. Someone's going to have to touch from the Hunters.
I can't believe he brought that fight over too. And a big anti though onto both tanks. Gaga takes so much damage and they take him out. That's absolutely huge now because they won't have Gaga for this fight. And now Nisha's gone too. Unfortunately for Rascal, he's not in this fight, but it doesn't matter. He took out Leave in the process and it's looking like the Fusion are turning this around.
Yep, OT ticking down, Vicky. That's going to be it. They're going to end up in a draw and we're going to go to a map number 5. This could go 6 as well. Oh my word, the Fusion not quite out of this just yet. Bit of a smile, I think, there on Hopper's face, just a little bit, maybe a little cheeky grin. They didn't lose, that's the most important thing. They get to go to control once more. That was all on Toby, though, at the very end of the fight. That second to last fight, they're getting their rally off and stacking up the armor. It was just so important. If they didn't manage to get that off or Toby died earlier, it would have been game over and Chengdu would have just won the series. Clutch plays from Toby. We're going to jump to a break. Don't go anywhere. Map number 5, it being Control, coming up soon.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just tuning in and you just woke up and you're wondering, wow, I'm in time to watch some APAC games. I mean, yes, you are, because this series is going on. It's going to be the Philadelphia Fusion versus the Chengdu Hunters, and our last map just ended in a draw. Still, though, it's 2-1 here, Jaws, and the Philly still need to get something moving in their favor. Despite that draw, it's a good start, but the Chengdu Hunters only need one more map to take the entire series.
Yeah, we're going on to Control as well, where they just kind of blew the Philadelphia Fusion out of the water too. Oh man, that Anubis game was heart-wrenching, I think, for the Hunters. Like, oh man, losing it at the very end to Toby's rally is definitely a stinger, especially when you had 3 ults or something coming into that last fight as well, and you only had to worry about that rally. The Death Blossom got interrupted, your copy didn't do much, and oh boy, Philadelphia Fusion, by the skin of their teeth, they're still in the series. We're about to jump into our next map, and it does look like we're actually getting a sub. Yveltal subbing in for Nisha, okay. Okay. More Mercy, I guess. Huh, okay, interesting one. I'm curious where this is actually going to go, because Nisha's Mercies looked very, very good too. We'll have to see what kind of comps they want to run. I'm not entirely sure what map it is either. We'll get that in just a second, but...
Yeah, we were talking
Double
that
shield?
it's going to be
Ilios is going to be our
Ilios,
map.
yeah. We noticed that it was on Control when we were talking in the break, but this brought to my attention, all right, so how did Control first go in the series? And Chengdu Hunters did really good on Busan, so maybe something, you know, similar to that, although bringing somebody else in, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It just sings Mercy to me. That's the really only thing that I'm thinking about. Maybe leave face Farah on Ilios? Maybe. I mean, Farah's used on well a fair bit. You can get nice for your environmentals, and you're able to control a lot of that high ground too as the Farah. There's a lot of places to hide as well. You could go for double flying characters if you really wanted to. You know, you could do the Echo and the Farah. There was a potential for that as well. But they did end up running more double shield, in fact, at the very start of the series. For Busan, at least, although they aid a little bit more to double shield because of the amount of enclosed spaces, and you're able to take high ground control pretty easily, and you can just kind of move along as this big death ball. Don't know, confused. We'll have to wait and see though.
Yeah, especially with some of those changes. I don't know if probably not the server thing, especially since we had that issue earlier on in the series. Thankfully, it was resolved. So hopefully, now that we have that draw, it can kind of reset the momentum and mentality for especially the Fusion. It's most important for them as we get set up. And we're talking about how this team seems to be very momentum-based, especially after their performance yesterday versus the NYXL. Seemed a bit deflated, I guess, would be the best way to word it, especially after looking at their cams. Luckily, though, this time around, it looked like they felt more confident. You could see that, you know, they were smiling. They're feeling, all right, this is our chance. We could finally get the ball moving in our direction. But after that draw, they still need to take 2 maps to be able to successfully take the full series.
Yep, 2 more maps. A complete reverse sweep with a draw included. It's like a cherry on top if you're a Philadelphia Fusion fan. Should be getting into game momentarily. Yeah, Yveltal stepping in. That's, yeah, it's kind of wild. Yeah, but yeah, this is going to be a long night, and it's quite funny actually thinking about people kind of waking up at this point in North America. I mean, it's almost 7 o'clock for me in the morning, so people are now started waking up, you know, having their cereal, having their whatever they're having in the mornings, having their cold. I was going to say cold cup of coffee.
But you said Coke?
You could have an iced coffee if
That's
you really
like gamer
wanted to.
breakfast. I'm about it. I mean, Coca-Cola for breakfast.
Man,
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna need one of those in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it's funny that people are now going to start to kind of wake up and they flip on YouTube. It's like, oh wait, Overwatch is still going. What? Like normally I can watch these VODs in the morning, you know, but actually no, it's still live. We are still here or awake, kind of. It doesn't like we're going into game though. Ilios. A 5th and potential final map after that draw on Anubis. Hunters, what are they going to do with Yveltal coming in? Okay, we're going over to Ruins. And they're actually far away 1987 too. I must have missed that on the lower third there. I was looking at the other monitor. All right, okay. Complete support swap up for the Chengdu Hunters.
I'm interested to see what they're trying to go for here. I don't know if they figured something out on Anubis that they just didn't like, or they just want to change it based on the fact that we're going over to Ilios. You have the ability to get a lot more utilization off of those environmental picks, but while we do get set up, we talk about what we've seen so far from both these teams, and if we do see this composition stick, it looks like Carpe has been finally finding his footing right back on the Ashe, especially after the last map. And he was able to get warmed up too on the Widowmaker earlier, so maybe trying to bring that fight over back to Jimmy. But far away, and Yveltal with the Lucio and Ana. Now, this is interesting because this is the first swap up in their lineup that we're going to be seeing so far.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a speed boost out the gate. Farway is going to stick on the Ana, and Yveltal, yeah, okay, so Yveltal's going to go on to the Mercy here. Again, Nisha's Mercies look so good. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious to why they swapped over to him instead of Nisha. We'll have to wait and see how much it does impact them. Nice little sleep on Mano. Oh, okay, so they know where he is, luckily. Oh, and someone will come up micro missiles. Thank you very much. So he didn't really want to do that. It was a little bit of a mistake, I feel. He could have headshot him first and then maybe followed up with some additional damage.
Oh, but they followed Jimmy. A dynamite, too, from Carpe. He's been able to build that up so well, especially trying to get that Bob as his 7th member on board. But they've lost Mono, so let's try to make that a 6-man as they are forced to pull back a bit. And the point is going to go in favor. Oh, Gaka goes down, though, from Alarm's anti. And the point's going to go first in favor of the Hunters.
Yeah, they do end up taking out Gaga though, so this could be a very, very quick engage. Although Mano is kind of feeding on the ball right now. Yeah, he's antied and he's going to go down, and then Jimmy, an easy click on the head of Alarm, so that will stop that from happening. And he should go down again. Oh, maybe not. Nice peel there from Hopper.
Alarm took a lot of damage getting right back into the fight from that res. Toby and both Alarm have their ultimates for this next engagement, but so does Leave on the duplicate, and we've seen how lethal that's been so far.
Time to raise my APM.
Yeah, super lethal. The idea right now is hopefully send Mano into the back, and you can see how effective these Wrecking Balls have been as well, Vicky. Mano's ult charge versus Gagas is just, it's like night and day.
Oh.
Carpe takes out Leave to start off with though, and they end up nanoing Elsa in fact to just try and stop this push onto the point.
And that's the trick too. Jimmy found the headshot onto Rascal though, and this map really does allow Carpe to shine in the backlines, put on a lot of pressure, losing a lot of health though before getting right back in. Hoppa's gonna take care of Elsa in the process. Number advantage is gonna go in favor of the Fusion, but Yveltal is gonna get the res back onto Jimmy. They've lost Gaga in the process though, so Jimmy's gonna be taking a lot of damage if he doesn't hold back. Leave is gonna make up for that absence of
Jimmy
the tank.
is still finding kills.
And yeah, he's still in the back, still finding Carpe, by the way, who was trying to hold a wider angle to not be in that line of sight. Really trickles down to that intel that you're going to have to know where Jimmy's location is, and he's still finding these pigs. Jaws now, he's found Alarm.
The longer this fight goes on, the better it is for the Hunters right now. Jimmy's just clicking head after head after head. Look at the perma pocket on him as well. Yeah, please look at the supports instead of the Widowmaker that's getting double pocketed. Self-destruct finds absolutely nothing. And on the Chengdu Hunters, they're in OT right now.
99% and not even contested, with the fact that the Fusion haven't even flipped this point once so far in this round, and they're still finding these picks come through. Jimmy got away with murder, and Gaga was absolutely happy with that, being able to be the distraction necessary for the Hunters. Really dominating start already for this potential last map for the Hunters.
Wow, that was a blowout there. Jimmy just took over the game on the Widowmaker. And Mano feeding a little bit there at the very start. I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's not good. If you end up just getting yourself antied, I point out the disparity in ultimate charge. Mano was just not having a good Wrecking Ball game at all. His Winston definitely better than his Wrecking Ball. And a little bit more of a closed-off map on Lighthouse as we move on to this second stage. So Winston's at the ready. Well, they can play a little bit of Wrecking Ball. A lot of environmental possibilities. Just the ability to get to high ground on and off as the Winston, I think, is just a little bit better, rather than resetting with the ball grappling hook. Still running the same kind of support comp, though, from Hunters here. Still have far away. Oh, it does get anti-naded. They jump on him straight away, but this peel is just so good. Refusing to let him go down.
Wow.
And Mano just dies for it as well.
The damage output was intense. This kind of just seems to be the theme here when it comes to Mano. They do manage to get that res. Ooh, a big anti, though, onto Leave and Gaga. Also gets demeched in a way better position now to reverse the situation in favor of the Fusion, but Mano's going to go back down again after that anti. They don't let him live, and it's going to be far away that claims that. Rascal and Hotbud, though, are going to make up for it, finding Yveltal, and far away is going to have to hold back after Jimmy is going to be a lone warrior to hang out here. He is nano boosted, but he's antied and he's put to sleep, and he won't be able to get anything done.
Away.
Instead, far away now. He's gone. He's out of this fight, and Rascal's going to make up for it, though. Now having the duplicate, they're going to take the point first.
Far away there hit nanoed Jimmy, but he instantly got antied and slapped. That really sucks. If he was able to just stay upright and not asleep for half a second longer there, they probably would have been able to turn that fight. And eventually, the point gets capped by the Fusion. I know, it feels like the Hunters had the control of that point the whole time, but nope, no one did. It was a fight off the point. Another engagement though, Carpe instantly dies.
Yeah, that fight just lasted so long, but Leave getting a 2K, still causing so much destruction up thanks to that pocket 2 that we're seeing from Yveltal. And now as the point is trying to get flipped by the Hunters, they're not going to give it too easily, but still the Hunters have that number advantage despite losing one member, and they are going to be able to successfully take it. Only 36% on board, though, for the Fusion.
Yeah, not the greatest amount of percent in the bank, but hey, you'll take anything at this point, considering you got 100 to 0 a second ago. Okay, copy. Primal Rage, Death Blossom, Valk, and Self-Destruct on the defense here for the Hunters, trying to defend against the point. Another instant dive in.
Oh no, Gaga dived in and he immediately got stunned and deleted. He couldn't even pop the Primal. Instead,
That
it's
has to have been a
Leaf.
mistake copying the, unless he sends out the nano and gets something. Rascal dies though randomly, okay, and a big anti actually, I'd take it back.
Oh yeah, that was way worth it right there. I like Gaga being able to close things out here around the rest of the Fusion. They didn't get the point at first here, Joust, but it doesn't matter because now that momentum that we were noting for both these teams is heavily swaying in the Chengdu Hunters' favor. And look at this Death Blossom that's online from Jimmy as he's already getting into position.
Are they gonna go up the stairs? Oh no, oh, they spotted him. Oh, run Jimmy, run. Oh, he's fine, he's good. He had Wraith Walk.
That ain't my business. That's exactly what Jimmy just said, just jumping out of that situation. He wanted nothing to do with that. Now Rascal's making his way over to the side room though. Bubble coming down and the duplicate's online from Rascal. Also gets stunned and gets demeched here. Luckily finding Rascal first for this fight, and now leave the DPS lineup of the Hunters constantly brings us satisfaction seeing these pigs come on board, finding 3, make it 4, leave, making sure that Mono has nowhere to go, and they don't have their supports out here either, Jaws, so they at least will be able to come in with some ultimates, but look at this time bank, the fact that they're already at nearly 90% for the Hunters.
Yeah, final fight. This could be the final fight of the series as well, Vicky. Copy is available. Jimmy has the Death Blossom. I mean, they're looking very good right now. Another dive into the backline could be it, but Rally's available from Toby and Alarm has nanoed.
Mono managing to get out of the situation, just rolling right back in. The duplicate to make sure that they have 3 tanks on board, as well as a fast-paced charge on the ultimate with the Diva Bomb to be Rascal. And now with overtime online, they found Gaga. This is a great start for the Fusion, but they can't ignore Lee, who has that nano boost. He gets antied, but Yveltal goes down. He had the Valkyrie, which could have been crucial here on maintaining this point, especially since Jimmy just found Carpe. Mono is now antied, and Toby goes down. This could actually go either way despite Hoppa now getting put to sleep if they just force him off. Now Alarm goes down too,
Jimmy
but
is still
Rascal was
killing
able to try to go in, and this is what happens when you bring a close quarter fight to a Reaper, and Jimmy's getting away with it.
Oh my god, oh, we booped him off, but Gargoyle's to the rescue.
Gaga was like, hold up, let me tell you something. Getting 2, even though Mono got that environmental pick off of Jimmy. This fight is still going on. And luckily, though, you have the Fusion that flipped it back in their favor. But for how long can they maintain this? For a lot longer, it seems like. Jaws now that Carpe's gotten that Deadeye pick off of Yveltal.
Yeah, OT's going to take down so quickly as well. They're going to make their way back onto the point, and Leaves almost got Copy again.
Oh, but Rascal's found far away. This may just go back into favor of Fusion, flip the point. Now it's just a matter of maintaining this position to stay on the point. They have to keep it into overtime. Although the Hunters have found 2, but they're going to trade that for both Gaga and Leave. This is the opportunity because Gaga had the minefields ready and Leave had the duplicate to make this fight a lot easier for the Hunters. This fight is going on for so long. We're having a repetition from the last fight.
Elsa was crouched in the corner trying to play solid Snake there. That was kind of nice. All right, okay, that fight ended. Not sure how, not sure when, not sure where, but it ended. My word, look at the ult bank again for the Hunters. Every time I look at the ult bank, I'm like, wow, that's pretty full. Oh, look at Fusions. Looks kind of empty. That's super unfortunate. They need to go really quickly here. They need to go very fast. Philadelphia Fusion, it's hard to track the ultimates in those kind of fights, so I'm assuming Hunters kind of assume right now that they're going to have at least the nano with maybe a couple of DPS ults. Carpe's in trouble already. Oh, he's going to get taken down. No, he gets nanoed.
Oh, and he uses the duplicate and immediately gets booted. Wow, that was a disadvantage situation for Carpe, and he still lived through it. Despite that, though, Leave had Yveltal right there, and now Carpe's gone down. Leave came back for seconds, and Farway's out, but it's okay. They still have Yveltal to help out with that sustainability. Overtime, once again, flipping for the Hunters. This is the 3rd time that we see this fight go down. The res, though, may be the nail in the coffin for the Hunters to solidify this map. It's going to be it, and Jimmy isn't going to let anybody else live. Alarm is still on the point, but they find him and they close out this map. What a fight. The Chengdu Hunters, they win against the Philadelphia Fusion.
A 3-1 in 5 match. We had a draw. 3-1 in a draw. My word, math's not my strong suit right now, I'm not gonna lie. 7 AM math, not looking too good. Regardless, the Chengdu Hunters take the victory here against the Philadelphia Fusion. And the big question for Fusion was when they actually going to show up. Like, they've been struggling over the last couple of weeks. The Chengdu Hunters, in a meta that seems to suit them so well, they weren't a crazy good Rhine team at all. In fact, opting to not even play the Rhine more often than not and opting for the ball, opting for the double shield. They look so clean and unwavered as well, despite the technical pauses that we had today and everything else. Like, they are looking very good. And Chengdu of old at this point, they've been consistent over the 2021 season, Vicky, and they're looking good for the June Joust as well.
Absolutely, although on the other side of the coin, the Fusion, they need to start picking things up because after yesterday's performance and today, I know that they're going to be a little bit of a rub. That's also going to be motivation for them to work out and iron out those mistakes. Currently, though, what a series it was and what a night it's been for us in looking at the APAC region, Jaws. I mean, nothing has gone according to plan, and that's my pick'ems once again getting sent to the trash. Now, hopefully, though, as we move forward, we get to choose a more unorthodox option instead for the pick'ems, and that's what I'm going to take in as advice, especially as a learning lesson after the last 2 days.
Yeah, the last couple of days have been underdog stories just coming true. Every single game that we've had has just had a weird outcome, like teams sweeping other teams and NYXL winning games, they're losing games, and Charge them winning. It's just all over the place right now, but it's great. It's super fun. But player of the match, Vicky, presented by Xfinity, is going to be Leave. What a shocker. This guy is an absolute nightmare to deal with if you're the Fusion today. Just any hero he put himself on, his Echo, his Creed. Superstar gamer for the Chengdu Hunters.
Absolutely insane, and made every duplicate count too. Between being a tank and a support, he was able to just juggle it all.
Yeah, and playing the Echo as well does require you to have quite a bit of proficiency on almost every single hero that you're feasibly going to copy into as well. Where the joke is always, haha, DPS Primal Rage, but like his wins look pretty good. I wouldn't bat an eyelid at it at all. When he copied into the D.Va, it was appealing for the rest of his team as well, which is one of the most important things you can do in that situation too. Just peel for the rest of your team, but that's not what the Chengdu Hunters do more often than not. They just dive your backline over and over and over again until it hurts them all. What an unbelievable day to be a Hunters fan. They've garnered a lot of fans over the last couple of years, Vicky, just being this unorthodox team. Amon playing the Wrecking Ball a ton when people weren't playing that pick, but now you look at where they've kind of evolved into a team with just cracked DPS, insane tank line, and just invincible backline as well in the supports. And Leave is just one small tool of this massive machine that is the Chengdu Hunters.
And you've basically worded it perfectly. They've been absolutely consistent. And with that series in the books, Jaws, we're going to say goodbye to the APAC region. But before we go, it's the Pringles Bold prediction. And I'm looking at these two teams here, Jaws. I want to hear your opinion first. I said mine first before for our last series. What's your bold prediction looking at both the Hunters and Fusion?
I'm going to say it. Just Hunters, maybe my bold prediction, Hunters, maybe they win June Joust. Maybe they just do it this time around. A lot of people had their high hopes for the main melee. They didn't quite hit the mark, but there you go. My bold prediction, Hunters, they're going all the way this time.
Gotta bring that back against the Dragons after we had seen that performance yesterday, but I definitely think that this is a team that could do that, especially with the way that they've been performing and how consistent they've been. My bold prediction, I want to say would be the Philadelphia Fusion switching spots compared to how they did in May Melee. I feel like they're going to be bottom 3 teams in the APAC region, which, yeah, I guess right now with their performance, it may not be so bold, but, you know, it's also a possibility for them to kick it up. I don't think, though. I think they're trying to find their footing in this meta, and they just unfortunately haven't been able to be comfortable with it yet.
Yeah, they need to just reset, just a complete reset, it feels like, for the Fusion. They've just not found their footing in this current meta, and sometimes it takes a little while to kind of get in the groove, but unfortunately, just the way the system is currently, it's tough to be in that situation because you don't have that many games this year at all. You have 16 games in total per team, so every win does really matter, and every series matters as well. So yeah, tough place to be in if you're the Fusion, but they've got a lot of superstar players on their roster. So Vicky, will be bouncing back, but can they make it to June Joust? Only time will tell.
Yeah, that was my bold prediction. So, you know, if anything, prove me wrong. I would love to see the Fusion shine. But guys, that's going to do it for tonight, or rather this morning for us, because we've been going at it for APAC for the entire night, guys. Definitely rewatch the action because it's been a fantastic time. Just overall, didn't really realize what was going on with my pick'ems. They just got thrown to the trash, and I know a lot of people are shouting out similar issues that they're finding. But overall, guys, that's going to be it for us and the APAC region for today. But if you didn't get your fill for some Overwatch League action, don't worry, because later on today, at around 3 p.m. Eastern, the Western teams are going to be facing off to conclude our first week in the June Joust. So, guys, thank you once again for joining Jaws and I. That's going to be it for us.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.
Finishing that fire. Adjusting angles. Adaptive circuits engaged. Time to engage.